We're going to be looking at the same shape, but now we're going to determine the surface area. The top is a square-based pyramid, and this is the formula for the surface area of a square-based pyramid. 2 times b times s represents the 4 triangles around the sides, and the b squared represents the area of the base. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, as you can see in the shape, the surface area only applies to the outside surface. So the base of this square-based pyramid is not exposed, so you do not count the bottom of this. Likewise, when we get to the pyramid or the prism, it will not count the top of this prism because the top is not exposed. So we have to take out the bottom of this pyramid and the top of this prism. So the formula for the surface area of the square-based pyramid, what you have to do is take out the area of the base. Now, you don't have to do that every example. It's just in this particular one because the base is not exposed. So if there's any part that is not exposed, or in a word problem that is not included, then you remove that from the formula. So to find the surface area of the first shape, it's just going to be 2 times b times s. Now, the other thing is, b is the length of the base, and s is the slant height. So that's the height of one of the triangles. It's not the same as the actual height. So the actual height of the prism of the pyramid is 6. That is not the same as the slant height. So you have to use Pythagorean Theorem to figure out what the actual height is, or the slant height is going to be. So in this example, the actual height was equal to 6, and the base length was equal to 4. So this is equal to 4. So to go from here to here, that is half of 4, so that is equal to 2. And what you're going to be doing is using Pythagorean Theorem on this right triangle to solve for the slant height. So using the height and half of the base length, so the height gives you this leg, half of the base length gives you this leg, and we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem to solve for s. So using Pythagorean Theorem, we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C is the hypotenuse, and a and b are the 2 legs. So the first leg is a, which is 6, and the second one is b, which is 2, and it equals c squared, which in our example is the slant height. So 6 squared is 36, 2 squared is 4, and 36 plus 4 is 40. And then when you square root both sides, the question says to round to 1 decimal place, so we're going to use approximately equal to, and the square root of 40 is approximately 6.3. So to find the surface area, it's going to be approximately, because we're going to substitute in a rounded number, 2 times the length of the base, which is 4, times the slant height, which is 6.3, and that is approximately equal to 50.4. Now we're going to find the surface area of the second shape. So the second shape is the prism, but there is no top because the top is not exposed. So we have to figure out which part of this formula to take out. So the width times the height is the left side and the right side. So there are 2 of those. So that does get multiplied by 2. And the length and the height, so the length times the height, that's the front. And the front will be the same as the back, so that will get multiplied by 2. But the length and the width, here's the length and here's the width. So that's the bottom and the top. So that means the length and the width does not get multiplied by 2 because you don't have the top. So it's going to be 2 times the width times the height plus just 1 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height. And looking at the diagram, that's 2 times, make sure you use brackets when you substitute. The width is 4 and the height is 5, plus just 1 times the length, which is 4, times the width, which is 4, plus 2 times the length, which is 4, times the height, which is 5. And in your calculator, that will equal 96. And the surface area total is the surface area of the first shape plus the surface area of the second shape. And because the first shape was rounded, you need to use approximate signs. And that's approximately equal to 50.4 plus 96. And that is approximately equal to 146.4, and the units are inches squared. So the surface area is a little more tricky than the volume because in certain cases involving composite shapes or involving word problems, part of the shape will not be included and you have to know how to adjust the formula.